Hi, today welcome to my first video blog or vlog, the trendy and hip way to say it. So today I'll be discussing how our culture and environment changes and affects the way we move. I'll be taking an almost anthropological view and combining what I know with kinesiology and how the body works to form a few ideas or theses about these interactions. To start off, I will be discussing how an individual's culture would shape or have an effect on our body, but more specifically posture. Posing that cultures that revolve around a type of manual labor will have a manifestation of certain body characteristics and exhibit a posture that reflects the type of work they do. My rationale behind this is that people that are constantly working and doing the same motions day after day will exhibit these certain postural deviations. I think this is the most prevalent in populations that are involved in intensive manual labor, labor that is performed all day and throughout the year. And in cultures that have a class system, I think that these are going to be seen in the lower working class. An example I chose that I thought exhibited or would exhibit these interactions between culture, role labor, and posture is the Ifugao people. The Ifugao people reside in the slopey hills in a small province in the Philippines. Their name literally means people of the hill. They were known for their rice farming. Since the land consisted of mainly hills, they practiced terrace farming as a means of growing their rice. So they had large cascading steps all the way up these steep hills. And their whole culture revolved around the culture of the cultivation of rice year round. Whether it's weeding, mulching, spading, preparing the soil, picking, they were predominantly in the fields. Since they're so ingrained, I'm gonna attempt to what I think the posture is like throughout the day as they plant and pick their rice. And I'll show a picture right here to show them. And the thin leaves of rice and pulling it out of the waterlogged paddies. Um, Starting from the feet up, there's no firm ground to stand on. They're constantly in water, in this muddy, muddy water sinking in. Next, their knees are continually bent as they wade through the rice leaves. So I think strong knee flexors are required to maintain this position to prevent their knees from collapsing. Um, I think it's important to mention the farmer's center of gravity, which is shifted forward due to leaning forward. This is going to cause stress in the body because the weight is no longer on the bones. Rather, it's supported by the muscles. Leaning forward is going to require strong hip flexors, or hip extensors actually. And I also think that you'd see a spinal kyphosis due to the constant bending over that's experienced. I also think there's going to be a rounding of the shoulders. Their arms are constantly forward and they're constantly picking while leaning down. So I think gravity is going to cause them to hunch and round their shoulders a little bit. And then I think that there's going to be a lot of strain in the neck. So there's going to be strong neck extensors that are required because they're leaning over like this all day and you need to pick their head up so they can see, so their face isn't looking into the ground all day. And I think this is different than my environment because I'm not taxed with manual labor all day long. I'm sitting down, I'm in class, so I'm not going to have these taxing forces on my body all day, which is definitely something that you'll see in cultures that revolve around a lot of labor. Next, I want to discuss environment and how that affects movement. I specifically want to talk about how the temperature and environment may influence a person's movement, specifically cold environment. I propose that people who live in cold environments are going to have more restricted movements and movements that want to conserve energy. I want to talk about the Inuits or Eskimos. These people were bundled up in heavy clothing and to endure the cold environment. Their body is shorter, their limbs are shorter. This is to reduce surface area so they're not exposed to the cold. And I think that they are going to want to reduce fast movements and high energy movements to conserve energy. Another reason would be to not break a sweat. The more they move, the more they sweat, which can lead to hypothermia in these cold environments. And another factor is the bulky clothing they wear is going to interfere with a lot of their movements. Compared to the environment that I live in, I have very loose fitting clothing. I can move around very temperature controlled environments. I don't have to worry about my energy expenditure or losing body heat out in the cold. So I think that's a very important factor to consider. To wrap things up real quickly, only have a little bit more time here. I think it's really important that we understand the significance of environmental and cultural factors and how they play into how our body moves. The things we do as a culture as a whole, we're going to see commonality. And our environment plays a key role into how we interact with it. Everything has a reason, and all our reactions that our body has happen for a reason, whether it's cultural or environmental. These factors aren't just things we should consider. These factors are really important. They really do affect our bodies. And as a PT, we need to be able to integrate that type of thought process and understand the significance of these roles and how they play into each and every one of our lives. Thanks for watching.